So I'm a freelance writer. I run my own online business for the last 6 or so years. I had always been tax resident in Ireland up until the end of 2023, although I had traveled here and there, but I'd always been tax resident here. And the time came to move to Canada, and I was going to be tax resident in Canada. So essentially, I needed advice on how to change my tax residency to avoid any double tax liability, to make sure I timed it right, to make sure, in terms of when I flew in and flew out of the country, that I actually was legally tax resident in Canada for the times that I said I was going to be. And how to kind of make the transfer in such a way as to make it hassle free and cost effective and everything else. So essentially, Stephanie just advised me on how to do all of that, how to, what to do once I was exiting my tax residency here and entering it in Canada, how to manage any assets that I had, at what stage it was safe to sell them again so as not to incur again any double tax liability or anything like that. So yeah, she basically just walked me through all of that process from start to finish. And so I did a half an hour consultation with Stephanie. She just kind of walked me through everything that was involved in exiting tax residency here in Ireland, entering it in Canada. She discussed also kind of my implications for any assets that I was holding, stocks and cryptos and that kind of thing, and what I should do in terms of holding them and selling them so as not to run into any difficulty. And yeah, just essentially answered all the questions I had with respect to all of those factors. I was referred to expat taxes by my original accountant who sorted out my books in Ireland, and I explained my situation to him, and he explained that it was kind of a niche request that I had, and so he referred me on to Stephanie, and I just went with Stephanie from there. Working with Expat was great. It really kind of did what it said on the tin. I thought I had quite a specific set of questions that I needed answered in order to progress on my tax situation. In terms of special features, I would kind of just say it really just did what was required. I was just in a situation where I needed help, and said help was provided quite well. I would just generally say that I would highly recommend Stephanie and Expat Taxes to anyone who is kind of in my situation, who is a self-employed online freelancer or whatever, who is in that situation that might be moving from one domicile to another. Look, it's complicated, and if you're not that literate when it comes to tax law, there are a lot of obstacles you can run into, or mistakes you can make, and potentially expensive mistakes you can make. So I would just encourage anyone who is kind of in my situation to make the investment and to get the advice, and that expat taxes are very good at what they do.